Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Strip by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. We definitely have a fancy naked person recording with me today, and I'm actually naked right now because it is like,
oh my god,
you're naked too? Yes. It is literally, okay, like it's 10 p.m. your time. It's 7 a.m. my time. I literally just woke up. I threw on a robe. I have some like tea in my hand right now. Basically, who is this mystery voice on the other end of the phone, on the other end of Discord? I'd like to introduce Salome Salvi. She is joining us all the way from Manila, the Philippines, and hence why the crazy time zone. But also thank you for making time for me, because this is actually our second time recording, because we tried to record the other day with opposite times, and it was a big fail. We were both tired. I just got my period.
Incoherent.
It was bad. So I'm just like, you know what? Let's just reschedule. So today is rescheduling. I'm a much better morning person now that I'm getting old. So yeah. But enough about me and all this like tangents. Salome, can you please tell the audience who you are, what you do, on your own words, in your own terms?
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Salome. I'm 27 years old. I'm turning 28 in December.
Oh my god,
so make sure
baby.
to tip.
Yeah, tip, please.
make sure to tip. Like the details would be after the show.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm an online content creator. So I specialize in solo content, adult content, obviously. I am a sex worker.
Yeah.
So, and I'm planning to slowly branch out into making content with other actors.
Oh, okay.
And maybe, yeah, like, and hopefully go to the States and Europe to like shoot a little bit more. But that is my turf right now. Like I am a virtual sex worker. So I do camming, I do pre-made content, which I sell on OnlyFans. I stream sometimes on Periscope. What else do I do? I do custom content sometimes when I'm up for it. And outside of that, like I do modeling too for artists and painters and for photographers who want to practice.
Cool.
And I've been doing this for about on and off for about 3 years. I've only started doing it consistently since the beginning of the pandemic.
Fair enough.
Like I really had planned to like debut my OnlyFans like early 2020, but you know the pandemic happened, so that kind of like made it a little rough for me.
Oh my gosh.
But I've been doing it full time since then. I also dabbled a bit in escorting,
right,
where I go on wholesome romantic dates with my clients. I've never really done full service sex work.
Okay.
I don't think I have fortitude for that, which, you know, like that's why I admire full service sex workers so much.
Yeah, that's a tough job.
yeah, like they're like the frontliners of our industry for sure.
100%. I also applaud them.
Yeah, like I have so much like admiration and respect for full service sex workers. But anyway, so
wow.
But also by that, like, I'm also trying to train and apprentice other different pro dominatrices to learn how to be a dominatrix professionally. So like I'm planning to do that like maybe when I get tired of doing porn and solo content. I'm planning to branch out into that because that's also an interest of mine. So
for sure, yeah, like, dabble all your toes in.
Yeah, try as many things as you can and see what works the best for you. And so far, out of everything I tried, like I fell the hardest for content creation and online sex work.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Wow. Holy crap.
You
do a lot of stuff. So, oh my gosh, this goes beyond just OnlyFans and everything. So you have quite an interest as well as wanting to dabble into other forms of sex work, which is completely normal. I mean, once you're already in it, it's just almost easier, it's more
Yeah.
accessible, right? It's like, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm sure you can like you can relate to that with your own career too, because you're
Yes.
a dancer and you do online content as well, and you do the podcast. So like a lot of sex workers are, like are multi-talented like that, and
We are
something
very
that I really admire
talented.
about the people I work with.
Yes, and it's great to be, associated with so many talented, like-minded individuals as well. So shout out to everyone listening. There's a lot of sex workers listening. So why don't we go back in the history of time in terms of like how you got started. Also, but like, because your work before, you were a marketing professional. I think you were a digital marketer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's the story with
yeah.
that, and how do you bridge the gap and transition into sex work? Like, how does it all work?
Well, I think, I think like, I think the reason why I am successful at sex work right now, or why I am flourishing, I think it's because like I have been on social media for like most of my life. Like I started writing for my blog on fucking DeviantArt.
Oh my god!
When I was 10. So
Holy
like,
shit.
I'm sure it's still out there. Like I visited from time to time. I'm never gonna tell anyone what my username was because all my fucking kid artwork is on there. So I started blogging and just like sharing my life with my friends and followers online since I was 10. And
Yeah.
there's something about it that I really like, because like my background is in art. I studied industrial design, and I've
okay.
always been artistically inclined. So yeah, so the creative industry is what I fell into. But I zeroed in on social media and digital marketing because of my long-standing love for it, and also like even though like visual art is my main forte, I also am pretty good at writing. So a lot of my first jobs are communication based. Like I worked at a BPO, and I
Okay.
worked as a social media manager for Playboy Philippines.
Cool.
And I worked, yeah.
What? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, like I could spill so much tea about Playboy Philippines. They're like the worst company I've ever worked for.
Can you spill a little bit? Spill a little bit. Spill the tea.
Oh god. Let's get back to that in a bit. But
Okay.
but yeah, so I worked for Playboy. I worked as a content creator too for an SEO company. And right before I started doing sex work full time, I was kind of juggling the OnlyFans stuff with a social media copywriting job and another social media management job for a digital marketing agency. So yeah, like it's because I consider myself to be pretty skilled at at communicating online specifically. There's like something very different about the way people communicate online versus how they present their ideas on traditional media like newspapers, print, or whatever. So yeah, like that is like my great love is for social media, for attention whoring.
Professional attention whore.
Yeah, like dude, like I like everyone on OnlyFans is a professional attention whore. Like,
Oh, for sure. You have to be.
that is like such a valuable skill.
100%.
And yeah.
And it's certainly helped you a lot too with hustling yourself online. If you have that SEO knowledge, if you have all this marketing knowledge as well, like, because basically you're marketing yourself.
Yeah, and like working in all of those jobs that are related to digital marketing, like it really helps. It really helped me in being better and better at building brands. Not just for myself, but for other companies that I've worked for as well. I just really love that. I consider that to be like a creative endeavor, and and I know that a lot of people don't really see like social media or building a brand as something that is like legitimately creative.
Really?
But I would think so. Like a lot of people still have like a very rigid idea of what marketing could be or what creativity is
Right.
and what it can be applied to, and they don't necessarily immediately think of social media, something like that. Like, like a lot of people would say that, hey, influencers aren't real artists, they're not real writers, they're not real filmmakers. But I disagree,
Yeah.
Like,
I totally disagree too, because building a brand is huge, and it's so important, especially like in having an online presence. You definitely need to have a brand for sure.
yeah.
Like even as a sex worker too.
You have to like have a mix of like street smarts and and book smarts, I think, for stuff like that.
Of course.
So yeah, and like I really admire YouTubers and influencers too, and people and those Instagram baddies. Like a lot of people really look down upon the work of people like that. But I think that their work, like the fact that they have to do that all on their own, that takes a lot of creative energy. And
yeah,
like it like I feel really blessed that I have the opportunity to do something like that with my own job, with my own work, with my own livelihood.
Yeah.
So,
because like, how many followers do you have on Twitter?
Ooh, like I hit 94K yesterday.
Holy shit! That is incredible.
It's a long time coming. Like I've had that Twitter account for about 3 years, and
wow. Okay, and go.
Okay. Action.
Yeah, action.
Okay, so I did hit 94K just yesterday, and I'm really happy about that.
Yes, congrats!
Thank you. But I've had that account for 3 years already, since 2017. But for the first 2 years, I didn't even like monetize my presence in any way. Like I had already started modeling, on and off for photographers, and that's how I would like advertise my work. But in terms of content creation, like I would just like post nudes for free, and just interact with my followers for free too, because I thought that it was like I didn't think too much of it at first. Like I thought it was just like a fun hobby that I did, and it was an easy way for me to get to sort of build a presence.
Yeah.
But like that building of a presence and brand online, it was kind of aimless for the first 2 years, because like I said, it was just something that I did for fun.
Okay.
But I don't regret like going through that whole phase where it was just a hobby, because like at the time, like it was just like kind of unbridled creation for me, because I was just posting nudes, but at the same time, like I would draw over the nudes, or I would like make digital art with my own work, and it was just for fun. It was just something that I was passionate about, and I didn't really. And I think the fact that I didn't monetize it and it was just kind of aimless at the time, like that was really important to me, because like a lot of my favorite artworks and a lot of came from that period,
Okay.
Yeah, so. Like I don't have enough time to do that now with all of the things that I'm juggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I started out. Like I was just like making little artworks with my nudes and
that's
just
so cool.
talking and it taught me a lot of things that I find useful now that I'm monetizing my brand,
Oh, like what?
And now that just like I think there was a lot of like chaotic moments in the first 2 years that I had my Twitter account. Like I would I would get into a lot of online petty fights with a lot of people, and I kind of learned the hard way that that's not the way to build a following. That's not the way to interact with your fans and the people who love your work. You know. So I am grateful for that period where I was just kind of like doing it for fun.
Yeah, like at that point, like do you consider that as sex work for those first couple years, or just more like art?
there were elements of sex work to it. Like there would be like, because that was also the time where I was like kind of dipping my toes into escorting on and off.
Okay.
And like I said, like I still use that platform to reach photographers and artists who wanted to work with me. And like I would get a lot of offers like on Twitter just because they saw my work and my self shot pictures. Like I would get a lot of offers like, hey, can you go on a date with me?
Oh.
And so yeah, like that's how I started escorting. Like I know a lot of a lot of sex workers would advertise on like Craigslist or Locanto or whatchamacallit, what's the word for sugar daddies?
Like seeking arrangement.
Yeah,
SA.
arrangement.
Yeah.
but I didn't have to go that route because like I was already building like a very, very visible profile on Twitter.
Right.
So like for the people who wanted to get with me or wanted to spend time with me or wanted to avail my services, they would just contact me on Twitter. So it was useful.
Okay.
Even though it wasn't like, I wouldn't consider it like a profile dedicated entirely to sex work. There was definitely like shades of that.
Yeah, and offers that you're getting. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome because like already you're attracting clients right through that outlet, and it's obviously been fruitful for you to do that.
That's yeah,
cool.
And by the time that I was ready to start with OnlyFans, and by the time I was ready to do online content creation full time, which was around May 2020. Yeah, like the stage had already been set. I had already like several tens of thousands of followers already, so it was easy for me to like make that jump. You know, and I understand that like a lot of girls who start on OnlyFans or a lot of like sex workers who start on OnlyFans, like they don't really have that like not everyone has that opportunity to like start strong immediately. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for those 2 years where I was just like fucking around, like
That's crazy. Were you ever nervous that you're already like putting out your nudes out there? Were you ever scared about like someone's going to steal my photos or putting yourself out in public like that and how vulnerable you are?
Yeah, I think that's also like something that I am thankful for in those 2 years, because I was able to like sort of ease myself into those into dealing with those dangers, because because like obviously like as a Filipino, that like here in the Philippines it's quite conservative.
Yes,
and
yes.
And like whenever, and there is a whole community here in the Philippines where gay men in particular and women would post their nudes and sex videos online just for fun, just as an outlet. And like obviously that is still kind of like it's more unheard of here in the Philippines than it is like in other countries, in other more progressive countries like the States and Canada or whatever.
Right.
So like when I started that account, like obviously like it got a lot of attention.
Right.
Immediately,
right off the bat.
like, especially because like right off the bat, and like I've had to deal with the dangers of being outed to my parents and getting recognized in public. Like I've had to deal with that like quite early on, when I like soon after I started my account.
Oh my god!
Because it was making so much noise,
Yeah, for sure.
Like on one hand, that is great for me, like in the long run, because it's still part of the process of building a brand. But yeah, like it's like it exposed me to how dangerous sex work actually is.
Right.
Because like a lot of people, especially like in a country like this where a lot of people disapprove of what we do, like they would endanger your safety just out of spite or just out of disagreement with just out of disagreement with how moral or immoral what you're doing is. So so yeah, like
oh my gosh,
it helped me develop thick skin,
like
because
holy shit, that's a lot. That's really heavy, and for you to experience that like so young, oh my god, I can't even imagine like how you felt. Like how did that come out about when you were outed to your parents?
Yeah,
if you don't mind
But,
sharing. Obviously, it's really personal.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, so around this time last year, like I got into, like it was also related to sex work actually. Like I got into, because I had already started doing like bits of sex work here and there. So obviously, like I had identified as a sex worker as well, and there was a big conversation on Twitter, amongst like Filipino Twitter users about how ethical sex work is, and obviously like sex work being a legitimate job, like it's not, it's not seen as that here in the Philippines, and
Right.
and like, so I put forth like my opinion in that, like, hey, this is how I support myself, this is my job, this is how I identify, and I don't think that, how am I gonna say it? So, so I was, like I was really opinionated about that topic, like at the time on Twitter.
Yeah, it's really
and
vocal.
and like I butted heads with a lot of people, and kind of, no, it's okay. It's not hard. I'm just like
Trying to like gather
yeah,
thoughts.
I'm just trying to like phrase it in a way that wouldn't get me into more trouble, because that is what I'm getting at, because of the things that I was saying about the nature of sex work during that conversation that was happening at the time. Like I earned the ire of a lot of people, and
Right.
and admittedly, I was also like really disrespectful. I was also like really uninformed with the points that I put forth. So in the parlance of our times, I got canceled.
Oh shit! Yeah, there we go. Damn.
And like I endured a lot of harassment and lots of death threats, and like part of that harassment and campaign that kind of started against me was that there was someone who outed me to my parents.
Holy
like as a form of
shit.
revenge.
Are you kidding
And
me?
yeah, that's how it happened.
Holy crap! That's insane. And did you know this person like personally?
It's vicious.
It is very vicious.
Yeah.
It's not their place to do that.
It really isn't. Like, and but like being, but I think that especially like with a lot of the OnlyFans girls, like who are like maybe in the top 3%, 2% on OnlyFans, like those girls have like hundreds of thousands of followers, and like at some point, like big accounts like us, like we all face that danger that if we say something that our audience doesn't particularly take too kindly to, like like it's so easy for people to to dig up dirt. It's so easy for people to dox someone that they don't like. It's so easy for people to like rally other people who disagree with that person to just like like cancel them and harass them until they stop until they stop working and stuff like that. Like that is like a constant danger.
That is so dangerous.
Yeah, for people who put their work out there.
Yeah.
And like I've made my peace with what happened. Like I do, like I am quite open to the fact that I did say a lot of things that offended a lot of people. So yeah, like I kind of accepted that as something that is a reality for like a lot of online sex workers.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're really putting yourself out there. Like you're becoming super vulnerable to the world.
Yeah.
So there are lots of opportunities for them to kind of take advantage of that situation and be vicious, as you said, in that way where, like, it's not their place to do that. Don't do that. Like, it's just bad.
Guys, like if you don't agree with someone, it's like it's better to just quietly educate that person. Like don't harass people on the internet. That's not great. But a lot of sex workers have the same experience as me.
Right.
Just angry exes who wanna.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and bitter coworkers.
Right.
People who. Or like guys who you don't like pay attention to, or who think that they or who are just, you know, like yeah, like
Or just
sorry.
like entitled. They think that they're entitled to your
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, like there's so many people who are like a potential danger to
Yeah.
to sex and online sex worker safety.
You know, I'm
So
so glad that you brought this conversation up because it's something that we haven't talked about too much, at least not on, especially not in this season of the podcast, but we lightly touched about this like earlier on in season 1, but I'm glad that we're bringing it up now because it's just so important to have a discussion with yourself. And also maybe people around you if you are close with them if you choose to, because there's a real inherent danger to this type of profession that some people might not realize, you know, before they go into it. So thank you for sharing that. Oh my God, that's deeply personal, and it makes me so angry.
yeah, like it makes me like, you know, but it's something that I've had to like sort out, but especially with my therapist. Like, because that is like a source of a lot of trauma for me. It was
sure.
really like there was a time during when it was happened that Salome Salvi was trending in the entire Philippines.
Oh
Like
my
it was a
God.
trending topic because so many people were talking about how canceled I was, and it was really really awful.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Holy shit, the fact that you were trending. Oh my God.
Yeah, like I had like hundreds and thousands of like just angry messages about, you know, like about the thing that I was saying. So
Jeez.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it's still like a pain point for me. But thank you for letting me tell.
I'm sorry for bringing it up. We'll close that conversation right there and then.
And like I said, like I think it is necessary for us to talk about it because like especially when I started getting on OnlyFans, like I would like get stories from the other OnlyFans girls that I work with and the other OnlyFans girls that I support that they endured something like that, you know, like just hate campaigns out of, you know, like started against them out of spite. And yeah, like I said, it's a very real thing that a lot of online sex workers face.
Yeah.
And you know, we gotta talk about it.
We definitely gotta talk about it.
So that we can make steps to make, you know, the online community safer for us.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, 100%. Thank you for bringing that up. I also want to talk to you quickly about just in general sex work in the Philippines. As you said, you mentioned it earlier, like the Philippines is a very, very conservative place. They have cyber sex laws in effect as well. Did you want to quickly go into that? Because obviously that is really, really, you're like walking on a very, very, very fine line.
Yeah. Like, I think, I think it's hard for me to, like, speak for every sex worker, obviously, because I'm coming from a place of quite extreme privilege. Like I said, like, I started doing the online sex work full time with a strong brand behind me already, and
right.
Not a lot of online sex workers have that privilege.
Yeah.
But so right now, like we do have anti-cyber sex laws, and that prevents sex workers from the Philippines and online content creators from the Philippines that prevents us from signing up on websites like Chatterbait or MyFreeCams or even OnlyFans. I was able to like get around that through some hard work as well. But it shouldn't be like, my point is it shouldn't be that hard.
No.
But we do have laws like that in place because the Philippines, like the rest of Southeast Asia, we have a really bad trafficking problem.
Right.
We have a really bad sex trafficking problem, and we have a really big problem with underage girls joining the sex industry against their will.
Right.
So those laws are in place to prevent that from happening. But I think that those laws are counterintuitive because I think it's the same for the rest of the world. Like those laws that are quote unquote designed to prevent the rampancy of trafficking, like that doesn't necessarily like do that.
No.
That only incentivizes the people who are who are trafficking minors and unwilling people into the industry, that incentivizes them to go further underground and to hide their work better.
Exactly.
And so obviously I don't agree with that. And also there's a clause in the cyber sex law where if you have consensual sex over the internet, that is still punishable by the cyber sex law.
Really?
Obviously, yeah,
oh god.
I could be wrong. If there are any Filipino listeners, you can correct me if I am wrong. But as far as I know, there is a clause there that criminalizes consensual sex.
That's just insane.
Yeah, it's awful. It's because we have such a poor understanding of here in the Philippines, as a conservative country, we have such a poor understanding of sexuality and consent, and and of course we have poor understanding too of the sex industry and the rights that sex workers deserve to have.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of that. So
yeah, that's
it's insane.
It's very infuriating.
I was just gonna say that even though there are laws like that are in place that hamper sex workers from reaching more opportunities that they deserve, it also makes way for sex workers to be creative with the way that they market themselves. It is the oldest profession, obviously.
In the books, yes, it
is. And I don't think that the abolishment of sex work as a way to prevent trafficking, I don't think that's possible, especially in the foreseeable future.
Right.
So I work with a lot of Filipino sex workers as well. If they can't get on OnlyFans, you know what they do? They go on Twitter and they sell there.
Yeah.
And they say that, hey, I have a Google Drive or a private Twitter account or a Telegram channel where I post my content. You can pay for it to me directly.
Oh wow.
And that's how they're able to put their work out there and reach their fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? They're able to do that without the help of platforms like OnlyFans or My Free Cams or Chatterbait. And it's just makes me admire their creativity a lot, but also it makes me angry that they have to go through all of that.
Yeah, that they have to resort to that.
That they have to resort to that. And a thing that I also really want to bring this up because like I said, I've had this account for 3 years already, and I've been in this community where people are trading nudes. I've been in this community for a while, ever since it was very small.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of girls that I help out, and a lot of girls that I talk to. Who I guide on how to sell their content.
Yeah.
And a thing that they face as they are not able to make their way onto OnlyFans. Something that they face is that their content gets pirated a lot.
Right.
Or that there are a lot of people who pose as buyers, but who are just there to scam them out of their content.
Oh no!
There's a lot of and there's also a lot of people who would steal their content, who would pretend to buy their content and probably would purchase it with real money, but they would resell it at a cheaper price for their own profit.
Yeah,
it's awful.
I keep seeing a lot of that lately too. That's awful.
Yeah, and because what they're doing is direct selling, they have to give out a PayPal with their real name on it. They have to give out a Gcash with their real name on it.
Right.
So every time they make a transaction with someone, that is another avenue for them to be taken advantage of.
Right.
That's what infuriates me about laws like the cyber sex law. Is that it's because these laws make it harder for sex workers to do their job. The sex workers have to resort to like avenues where they are not completely protected.
Right.
Even and when they present their case to the police, like they are more in danger of being incarcerated rather than the person who scammed them out of their money and their work. You know?
Yeah. So it's like they probably don't even report it at that point because it's just like it's so much more of a risk in terms of like getting arrested over the work that they're doing. Oh my god.
Yeah, like under the cyber sex law, the person who is selling the nudes is more in danger out of like who is selling the nudes. Like they're more in danger as compared to the person buying the nudes, and that's insane.
That is so backwards to me. Super backwards and super stupid. It makes me really angry. Stupid. Yeah, like. Because, like, I know the States has, like, a similar law in terms of, like, FOSTA SESTA, where it's kind of grouped together, trafficking and sex work. And, again, there's no clear definition of, like, what the two types of, like, avenues are. And you can't just put them all into one bubble because it just makes it really, the whole thing really dangerous. And again, you're just driving sex workers to do other things to get around the laws, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's also, like, what are the other problems? Like especially, like, with the way that these girls here in the Philippines are selling their news, they just run into, like, tons and tons of problems. And, you know, like, and it's so sad for me to, like, see a lot of them get discouraged, like, in the first couple months that they do sex work.
Oh, man.
Because, and, like, for example, like, I also want to bring up, like, how PayPal is so anti-sex work.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen, oh, my God, like, I've seen girls with, like, 50,000 pesos in their account, and only to have PayPal seize their account because PayPal found out that they, like, made that money with sex work.
Yeah. I've heard about this. Can you like talk a little bit more about this? Because I've also heard of this also in Canada too. Obviously, I think just PayPal as an entity does not like sex workers at all.
Yeah, because what they do is that when like it's kind of like a virus, honestly. Like for example, you have been identified as a sex worker. Like maybe PayPal saw that you are advertising your PayPal on a website where you also post your news, so it's going to tag it sex worker, right? So everyone who sends money to your PayPal is also going to be flagged as part of the industry, and they're also going to be in danger of having their accounts locked and having their funds seized by PayPal. God. It has that flagging system where every other PayPal account that interacts with a sex worker, like, is also going to be flagged for participating in sex work, and all of the it bogs everyone down. And when they seize your account, they're gonna say that, oh, you're not gonna be able to withdraw these funds for 90 days. And I've seen some sex workers who had that 90 days pass by, and at the end of it, PayPal's just, you know what, your account's just gone.
What? Oh my god!
It's going to be more dangerous for you if you report that to PayPal, because if you do that, you're essentially outing yourself as a sex worker.
Exactly.
Because they're going to have you, they're going to have you detail. They're going to have you detail exactly like who you got that money from and where you got it, and you know, like, they're going to see like that it's on your record that you've been interacting with people who have been proven to be in the sex industry at some capacity. So
that's super dangerous. Yeah, totally.
And it still boils down again to like how these government entities like look at sex work and trafficking as one and the same.
Right.
Because what they do is that they discourage these companies who handle the finances, like American Express, for example. Did you know that American Express, you can't use that for OnlyFans now? Like if you have a credit card, that's American Express. Yeah, they American Express said you can't use our bank to transact on OnlyFans. So like immediately that cuts down on like the customership of OnlyFans because like so many people use American Express.
Exactly.
So like a lot of the government says to these entities like American Express and PayPal that, hey, if you are going to interact with these websites or these individuals who are involved in sex work, we are gonna we are gonna like litigate against your whole company. So like
Holy crap.
so what these companies do as a compromise is that they just like avoid sex work full stop.
As a whole,
Because-
they just don't even associate
Yeah.
themselves at all. Crazy.
So it's so hard to find like e-payment services who are willing to go down that route, you know? Like,
Yeah,
so
that's
obviously
really tricky.
PayPal is out of the question.
Like same
What
here.
else are the ones-
No, same here in America too. Like we've been having problems too, and I've seen so many different forums and like Discord channels. Like, what kind of online payments can people use now that's safe and support sex workers? And it's always like a big question mark now.
Yeah, like I heard that Paxum is still okay. And a lot of sex workers like get around this by like trading their services for Amazon gift cards, and then there are servers on Discord where you can like trade the Amazon gift cards for actual cash. But again, like that just makes the process so much more complicated and dangerous for sex workers, you know?
Again, yeah, exactly. Oh man. My blood is boiling right now. Like and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Like I wouldn't say it's a good thing, because law enforcement here in the Philippines is really poor.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, don't have that kind of policing for our local payment services like GCash or PayMaya. So a lot of the sex workers here are still able to use GCash, which is kind of like Cash App.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so that's like kind of a silver lining.
Yeah.
But again,
it's a workaround, but still, again, it's like limiting those resources, having us to like go through so many different and so much more hoops to just be legitimized. Like, why? Oh God, I'm sorry to hear that. That's really shitty.
I just want to be nude on the internet. Like,
let me be free.
Why is it so hard?
I know. God, Again, I share the same qualms. It's just like, why are we always so censored all the time? Come on. I'm just trying to do my job.
Oh, God. Like, I have I have so many bones to pick about that censorship thing. I also ran into some problems just yesterday on Reddit. You know, like...
Really? In the sex worker subreddit?
What? Sorry?
In the sex worker subreddit, or...
There are a lot of subreddits.
Lot.
There are a lot of subreddits that are dedicated to sex work.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't like about Reddit is that even though it's so easy to get popular on Reddit, like on subreddits like the Gone Wild or like Asians Gone Wild or Philippines Gone Wild, it's so easy to build a following there. Mm-hmm. But they ban sex workers. Like, if they see that you have that, they see that on any other subreddit that you're selling your stuff, they will ban you from ever posting on that subreddit. So like that again, like that kind of censorship like hampers sex workers from building a following and getting their work out there. So I got banned yesterday. I got banned yesterday from short-haired hotties, which I used to post at a lot. I got banned from Asian cuties.
Oh no.
And I also like got a lot of heat from the Polaroid subreddit because and that's something that I'm really sad about, because I do consider like all of the nudes that I take of myself. I do consider like the nudes that I take of myself and, you know, the artwork that I make of it and, you know, the videos that I make. I consider that to be like part of my, you know, like part of my body of work and part of my art. You
Absolutely.
know? So I was sharing some of my Polaroids that I took on r/Polaroid, and there was one guy who was like, "Hey, I've seen your profile and you have an OnlyFans, and I don't want you here selling your work." And I'm like,
God.
I'm not here to sell my work. I'm just here to share my bomb ass Polaroids, dude. Like,
oh my
it's not my fault that, you know, that I am my favorite subject, and, you know, like I dabble a lot in news because that is like, you know, that is the way that I choose to express myself artistically. But, you know, like they're on mainstream platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, much less for Twitter, but on Reddit too. Like they censor sex workers because
that's so annoying.
Yeah, it's so annoying. But it boils down to the fact that the countries have laws that discourage mainstream platforms like that from engaging in sex work. Because like if like let's say the U.S. government chooses to prosecute Reddit for for hosting
nudes or
for
like
being a platform for sex workers,
Yeah.
like that's gonna endanger the whole platform.
Right.
So they just choose not to engage with it. And it sucks.
It does suck. And there's so many trolls on Reddit anyways. Like in general, it's just a troll fest. I'll just keep it at that.
Did you used to post on Reddit too?
I do post in Reddit, not for my sex work. I did post a couple, but I was like, I don't know if I want this here out publicly. So I was like, I'm not going to engage in that. But I was in some of those subreddits that you mentioned. So,
like
Asians Gone Wild.
Oh yeah, you were in Asians Gone Wild too?
Yeah, but then I left because I was like, I don't know if I really want to be out there right now. So I'm not doing too much with content creation.
What do you Reddit for?
A lot of personal stuff. Yeah, I'm in like some different subgroups there for mostly cooking. Cooking and like noodles and stuff. But they still like, and just like am I the asshole kind of subreddit, which I like. It's really funny.
You just like it's just so fun to like read other people's stories, and it just makes me sad that as a sex worker, like
you don't have that opportunity.
Sometimes we are prevented from participating in those communities just because our bio on Reddit has OnlyFans on it.
Yeah, that's really shitty.
It's really shitty. Like, oh my god, like the world just hates sex workers. Like,
pretty much. I also wanted to get into because I know I was just going on the thread with your Twitter. They also wanted to hear about what's some good client etiquette and safety for workers online. How to prevent from piracy, what are ethical practices, how to stay professional. We could quickly go into that as well.
Yeah, sure. And I think it's very heavily related to like what I said about Filipino online sex workers and how resourceful they have to be. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Because we don't have platforms on OnlyFans to weed out who is a legitimate buyer or who is safe to interact with.
Yes.
We have to, like, as a community, we have to build that ourselves, and it's kind of hard, and it's really difficult. Like, for example, like I do have a Telegram channel where sex workers can post their content and they can advertise there, and it has like maybe 500 members, and it's a mixture of sex workers and buyers, and it's just like a channel for sellers and buyers to connect with each other.
Okay.
For you to be a member of that particular channel, you have to submit pictures with an ID, and you have to submit pictures like doing like a peace sign, just so we know that you're not using someone else's content to sell.
Yeah.
Because that is something that we experience a lot. Like sometimes like we would just catch like maybe like an account that's like 3 months old, has 7,000 followers, and like all the while they've been like stealing content from other content creators.
Totally.
To prevent that, I think that I would encourage like sex workers to seek out spaces where there's a vetoing process like that for both buyers and sellers, so that the people who you are interacting with, that they have been screened.
Yeah, they've been vouched for.
Yeah.
Right.
And like that is something that we kind of picked up from Reddit as well. Like there is a huge subreddit called Sex Cells, and it's kind of notoriously hard to get verified on Sex Cells. Like you have to have a 2-month Reddit account, you have to have been active every day for the past 2 weeks, you have to submit all kinds of IDs, you have to be verified on a website other than Reddit. It's hard. Like it's like a job application, but having to go through that trouble, like it greatly increases your safety in that community, and it saves you a lot of time because like the people who are part of that community have all been vetted by the administrators and the moderators of that community.
Right.
So like I think for safety, like for both buyers and sellers, I would suggest that everyone like seek out spaces like that who
Right.
have like a solid, reputable way of
verifying,
of vetting,
Yes.
of verifying,
100%.
So and like I said, it's just difficult for like I have like I am the creator of that group, but there are I'm working with 3 wonderful sex workers who are just like talking to everyone and verifying everyone on their own time for free, just so that they could be just so they can keep the community healthy and like
That's awesome.
yeah, that's awesome. Like and like the security of the community like owes a lot to people who volunteer like that.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I just wanted to give them a shout out. I
Yes.
love them so much.
That's incredible.
So I think that is also part of like client
Etiquette?
client and worker etiquette.
Right.
That like you shouldn't be offended if like whether you're a sex worker or a potential client, you shouldn't be offended if like the other party is asking for verification, because like we've had cases like that where like for example like for a sex worker to ask someone, hey, can you provide an ID, and then that person who they didn't know had an ulterior motive, that person would like act really angrily
Yes.
and say that, hey, why are you, don't you trust me? Like I have all of this money in the world that I can throw at you. Like
Yeah.
why do you have to? They would like act
They get
like
defensive,
that, so that,
for sure.
yeah, they get defensive, so that, and a lot of them only do that so that they can get away with not being verified, and they can get
Right.
away with whatever scam that they're planning to do on this sex worker,
Exactly.
And obviously that happens to a lot of clients too, like from people who from sex workers who are not like completely honest with their work.
Yep.
So I feel like that is something that needs to be normalized, like asking for verification with everyone who you interact with.
Totally.
So yeah, I wanted to touch upon that.
I'm really glad that you brought that up. I'm really, really glad.
Like for platforms like OnlyFans, like they cut that short because like you're not going to be able to register on OnlyFans without like a working bank account and without providing an ID that you are not underage. So yeah, it's just something that it's just an extra step that like that Filipino sex workers have to go through,
Right.
just because like those platforms are not available to us.
Yeah, they don't
It's
exist
like
in the country. Yeah, it's shitty. Can you also like go into a little bit about your ethical practices and how you stay professional being a sex worker?
Like me personally?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what do I do? Obviously, like my job, and also like for my personal life as well. Like even outside my job requirements, I do have a lot of casual sex. So, like it is a normal practice for me to get tested every couple of weeks, and
Right.
I've also started like buying. Oh, this is something that I want to share to like all the Filipino listeners out there who are like having a hard time getting tested, especially now that we do have social hygiene clinics which are there for what the government calls establishment workers, which is like another word for sex worker. Like they just don't want to use that term, but there are clinics that are dotted around the metro where you can go and get tested for free. But right now it's kind of hard to get access to places like that because all of their staff is like off in another hospital working on the COVID effort. So what I started doing was that I ordered test kits online so that I can test myself for different STDs, and just so I know what my status is, because
Right.
because that is something that's really important to me. Like I really need to get tested every couple of weeks just because like I meet a lot of people, and like am trying to make content with a lot of people, and I, like with every sex worker that I interact with, I know I also want to keep them safe.
Of course.
So that's something that I do. And, like, I would encourage all sex workers to do that too. Like, we have such a dangerous job, and it poses such a risk to our health and our bodies.
Potential risk.
So I'm always like encouraging everyone to just know their status.
Yeah. It's also like peace of mind for yourself too.
What's that?
It's also like peace of mind for yourself as well.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, like that is a source of so much anxiety for me. Like, like when something goes wrong during like a one night stand, maybe condom breaks, or maybe like, or maybe like I do something stupid, like agree to like raw sex, like oh my god, like that.
We've all been there.
Stupid girl thing. But yeah, like I try to make up for it by being really, really diligent with testing, and just taking excellent care of my body. Like, I try to work out and eat clean, and like you said, like it's all for my peace of mind, because sex work is such a personal, it's such a personal job.
Yeah, it's very intimate.
Yeah, and and when there are days that, when you wake up and you don't like the way that you look, maybe you gain weight, or maybe your skin's not cooperating with you on that day, like sometimes it is hard to work. So like I owe it to all of the people who are paying for my services to take excellent care of myself, so that I feel good about myself as often as possible, so that I am able to work for them.
Right.
Yeah,
no, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. And those are all really, really great tips to share. I know like a lot of your followers were really curious about that, but I guess we're going into questions now. So, and there's a lot of them, so let's do it. And this all came from like Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. So let's just get into it. So,
oh my god, I didn't see the ones from Instagram.
Yeah, they're all in mine. So
Awesome.
Let's see. What are your thoughts that a president who supported and was supported by sex workers passed bills against them? I guess we kind of touched on this a little bit. But
oh yeah, like I would say like Trump and Duterte has like falls into that category.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Do you know about Duterte ba? Like his Secretary of Communications is a sex worker.
What?
A former sex worker. Yeah.
No.
She like maybe people would not like think of her immediately as a sex worker, but I think like her previous work definitely falls under sex work, because because she was a go-go dancer. Like she.
Oh my god! I didn't know that.
Oh my god! Her name is Maka Usan.
Okay, I'm googling.
She used to be a bi icon before she got caught up in the fascist regime.
Oh my god!
She used to be awesome. She used to be a sex columnist, and she used to give out like advice on how to. Like on how to eat pussy, or how to, or how to like have sex on your first time. Like she used to be like a legitimate sex educator, and she had and she has like a dance troupe, and they would go in bars and just like, I don't know if they ever went topless, but their acts were definitely racy.
What?
So I don't know if, yeah, dude, and I don't know, and she was on the cover of FHM, she was on Playboy, she's like a freaking, yeah, you would consider that sex worker. I think it's
100%, yeah, absolutely.
Right? So now we have like a communications secretary who's a sex worker.
That's crazy.
And it's insane. But
under that dude? No way. That's insane.
What? Yeah,
I'm shocked.
And I think Trump and Duterte are very similar in that regard, in that they have availed of the services of sex workers. They are very misogynist. They are, they talk very, very disrespectfully about women, and and survivors of abuse. Like they are just pigs, just the piggiest of men, And it makes me sad that they are the ones calling the shots about what to do with sex workers.
Yeah. Not cool.
So not cool. But that's all I have to say about it. It's not cool. They need to be ousted. They need to be impeached, dude. Like,
yeah,
like
I
not
agree.
just for sex workers, but for the safety of the women who are in the nations that they serve. They need to go. Like, fuck that.
Next question is not related to politics, but it's very intimate. So, what is your most powerful squirting orgasm you've ever experienced?
Oh shit! Oh god.
If you want to answer that.
No, I do. Like, definitely the most powerful ones I've had are always when I am on a video call with someone.
Okay.
Because I think that's like one of the main reasons why I am even in this job. Like, I am an exhibitionist. Like, it gives me a lot of pleasure knowing that people see my body and see my work, and and being on a video call with someone where I show off my body and I masturbate while they're watching. Like, that really is such an ideal situation for me to just be in the zone and give myself the maximum pleasure.
Yes.
That I can give. So the most powerful squirting experience have always been on video calls when someone is watching me.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
and
cool.
it can get insanely messy for me. You know the feel. I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So that would be the defining characteristic of all of the most powerful orgasms that I've had. It's because someone was watching me.
Yeah.
And someone watching me perform.
I love that. Now I'm curious. I'm like, wow, I want to see the show.
It's just sad though that I never get it. I never get it on video. It's always live on a call, but it's never for a recording that I put out on OnlyFans.
You should. Yeah. You can sell that for a really high price.
Yeah. I'm thinking of getting someone to just talk me through it so that I can still have that experience of being watched.
Yes.
So that I can record myself.
Yeah, you should.
Yes.
Something to do. Has your work ever interfered with your love life?
Yes, it has.
Okay, that's a quick one.
In major ways. So I broke up with my ex, and we were together for 5 years.
Oh wow.
And probably one of the biggest reasons was because I wanted to do porn abroad.
Oh.
And I wanted to do porn with partners. He was on board with me making solo content. He was even on board with me trying domination and going into that field somewhere down the line. He was so supportive of that.
Yeah.
And I owe a lot to him because he's just so supportive and so he is the reason why I learned how to celebrate myself, because when we started our relationship, I was a completely different person. I didn't even think of myself as attractive at the time. It was I have really bad self-esteem, and he throughout those 5 years he helped me unlearn that. But
wow.
We had to break up because because by the end of our relationship we had turned from monogamy to being an open relationship where the both of us are free to have sex with other partners.
Right.
And that phase of the relationship was already hard on him because he was dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues himself. He was dealing with a lot of jealousy, and for me to progress from that to actually working with other actors and actually wanting to go abroad and do porn with major studios and actors that was a deal breaker for him.
I see.
And it came to the point where I had to decide whether I want to sacrifice what I love to save our relationship, or do I choose my career over this wonderful relationship that I have with this guy. So that is the biggest way that it has affected my love life. But like it was a decision that I don't really regret.
Yeah.
And I am still good friends with that guy.
That's good.
Like I still talk. Yeah, I still talk to him every day. It's just that we can't be lovers because I made that decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard, but
it's bittersweet.
Like I said, like I love my job, so I don't regret that decision.
No. What's the funniest?
How about you?
Me? Oh, has my love life ever got?
Are you? Yeah,
Oh my
are you in a relationship right now, though?
I am. With
like, is he like supportive of your work?
Yeah, he's definitely pretty supportive. It's actually funny. I just talked about this on a podcast this week. I mean, the week that we're recording. And he's actually a former client of mine.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Specifically episode 32 of my podcast.
Oh my god, I've got to listen to that.
Yeah.
I'm such a stalker. Like, I'm just a curious George. I'm gonna listen to that.
It's really interesting. It's like he's like my foot fetish and former slave, and
oh, that's so hot.
It's a thing. I might do an episode on that as a bonus, but we'll see. It's already out there in 50 plus the tips. So.
You should, because all of the pro dominatrices that I work with, like, have partners who are former like slaves of theirs.
Yes, I keep hearing about this. It's a thing.
It's definitely a thing. Like, literally, oh my god, like Miss St. Lawrence, Domina Fire, Queen Callie Rain, not Mr. Sarah, who is another one I work with, but like I would say 90% of all of the ones that I know. Holy shit!
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, talk about that too.
Yes, possible bonus episode. I'm gonna have to see if he's on board, so we'll see.
Okay.
Well, back to you. What's your funniest getting recognized in public story?
Oh shit! I don't know if any of them are funny. A lot of them are like
traumatizing. Oh god.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, I got one. So a lot of people actually catfish as me.
What?
So that,
oh god.
Yeah, dude. Like if you search Salvi on Facebook, you'll get 20 accounts. and it's so funny because like it's so funny like seeing these strangers like try and build the story around this fake person that they created. So like I would say that, oh, I didn't know that I was a nurse, and I didn't know that I studied in this university. I didn't know that. And then like I have pictures of my cat as well on Instagram. Sometimes they take that and then they give that cat and they give my cat like different names. Like, hey, this is Snow. This is my cat. It's like, bitch. That's not Snow. His name is Ernie. So a lot of people like catfishes me, and there was this guy that I hooked up with like a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So I went to his house, stayed overnight, and he has a bunch of roommates, right?
Yep.
And
oh my god.
And then one of them recognized me, and he was like, hey, do you remember me? I was like, no, I'm sorry, I've never met you. He was like, no, we were talking for 2 months, and I stopped talking to you because you started asking me for money. And I was like, that's not me.
Oh my
and then
god.
he showed me the account, and then this account was named Sarina Salvador or something. and then I was like, oh my god, you gotta like report that person. And he was like, you know what? For shits and giggles, I'm gonna like keep it going.
Oh my god.
And I was like, you know what? I support that. I want to see where this goes.
Yeah, for sure.
So a couple weeks later, we went to a party, and he took pictures with me, and then he showed it to the catfish. He was like, hey, I met you today. And then the catfish was really good at playing along too. She was like, yeah, we had sex and it was really great. Thank you for last night. For the record, we didn't have sex.
What?
But this catfish was like going on and on about like this imaginary encounter that we had.
What the heck? I thought they would like back off by that point.
What's that?
I thought they would like back off or like ghost at that point when they're outed, but like I guess not. They're really good.
No, this catfish was very persistent, Wow. So yeah, that's a funny one that I got.
That's too good. That's a good one. How does your personal sex life and professional sex work differ?
It's like I actually was thinking about that exact problem just lately because because it's not hard for me to find partners to have casual sex with.
Right.
But among those partners whom I already trust and am friends with, it's so hard to get them to agree to make content with me.
I see.
So that is like the main difference, I think. It's a lot harder for me to get men to, have sex with me but also record it and have me market the clip on different platforms. A lot of them obviously have apprehensions because again, it's a very conservative country, so a lot of them have apprehensions of being involved in the sex industry in any capacity, but also maintaining a vanilla lifestyle where they have a real job,
right?
And and a lot of them know that I have this following on Twitter, and they know that if I release anything with them in it, it's highly likely that they will get recognized by some of my followers because my reach is already that substantive.
Right.
So yeah. So that is a really big hurdle that I have yet to figure out how to get around
that's tricky.
in ways where I don't have to go out of the country. Because right now that is the most feasible thing for me right now because obviously the industry is more out in the open and it's flourishing more in the States and in Canada and the UK.
Yeah.
So I could go there instead and work there.
Right.
But in terms of finding other workers here who do the same thing that I do, it's hard.
It's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really tricky to navigate around. Very, very tricky.
And, there's a lot of legalities that we have to consider too.
Good question, though. Good question. Are there plans to expand your work from simply sex working to, say, acting in a mainstream production, since mainstream is including more and more nudity and adult content?
Definitely. I think that's one of my long-term goals. I want to be able to marry the writing that I do and the artwork the sex work that I participate in. And I have I have actually one movie credit.
Oh, do you?
I do, yeah. It's a Cinema One original, and it was shown in a film festival last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's really cool because I was essentially playing myself because they needed a person to act as a porn actress. So the scene that I was in was a set of a porn film. So there was a director and there were so it was really fun. I was and I was credited as myself playing myself, so that was really cool. And I hope to work more in that capacity.
Okay.
Especially here in the Philippines because not a lot of mainstream actors would be willing to do nudity, so they would source other so they would look for models who've already done Playboy or who've already done nude modeling for artists. They would look for women who have been in those fields to fill those roles up that require nudity. Yeah, so I would love to do more of that.
Cool.
And,
well, any directors or producers listening, sign her up.
Yes, please. Let's get an IMDb page going, please.
Here's a couple more questions here. What are your favorite aspects of sex work, and what has been the most difficult?
What is the most what?
What's your favorite aspect of sex work, and I guess what's the most difficult parts of sex work?
My favorite aspect is always like gonna be the creative like aspect of it. Again, like especially with the work that I do, the kind of sex work that I do, like there's a lot of like I have to I have to utilize my skills in photography, videography, and video editing. I have to, I have to learn how to write. So my favorite aspect would be like the creative aspect of it, because like I said, like I have to utilize a lot of my creative skills, especially like at the beginning when I was just like posting my nudes and then like drawing over it and making art out of it.
Right.
Like that took a lot of like my skills in digital painting and digital art and collaging. I have to be good at photography and videography. I have to be good at editing. And like my background in art is so like I have like such a long standing relationship with art that I always consider like those opportunities where I can like apply myself and make something out of nothing. Like I always consider those opportunities like as a blessing.
Right.
Like it's always it's always a blessing for any artist to be able to put out work like that, because it is a cathartic and such an emotional process. Just the act of making something.
Right.
So whether that's writing a thread of tweets, or whether that's like just posing for nudes, or making Polaroids, or editing like that, those are all fulfilling activities for me.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, to be able to do what I love so much and to earn a good living out of it, that like I'm so thankful for that.
For sure.
And the hardest part would be just how emotionally taxing it is. Because,
it is.
Especially like with online sex work. Like you have to talk to hundreds of people a day, like other sex workers. You have to talk to clients. You have to talk to your assistants, because a lot of like online sex workers like hire assistants now to just go through the customer service tasks that they have to do. Because like a lot of what we do is. It's funny. I saw a tweet saying that online sex work is like 10% sex and 90% customer service, and that is so fucking true.
It's so true.
And if you've been in customer service at any capacity, like a waitress, or if you've worked as a call center agent, or if you worked as a clerk, like how taxing it is just to deal with irate, unsatisfied people all the time, or people who are just demanding like more and more from you.
Yeah, and just trying to still remain professional and try to still be happy and like keeping them happy. Like it's hard.
This is hard on my throat.
We're almost done. I know it's almost been like 2 hours of talking. Where are we? What was one good thing that happened to you in 2020? That's the last question. There's a lot of questions.
Oh. Well, I was able to get on OnlyFans.
Yes.
Like that is like the biggest thing for me. Like just to be on that platform and have like easy access to buyers. Like that is like just being on there and just flourishing on there and gaining a lot of followers ever since I started. Like that all happened in 2020. Like because I started in May.
Right.
So and ever since I started like doing sex, because that is like the turning point for me. Like when I finally got on OnlyFans and maybe like had 2 weeks worth of earnings already, like I was ready to quit my job. Quit my vanilla job, which I was trying to do at the same time. Like, but like seeing how demanding like OnlyFans, the OnlyFans work can be. Like, I finally like quit my job, and like I wouldn't have had the courage to do that if I didn't see like the possibility like of how much I can actually earn on OnlyFans, and it's been like I earn like 4 times as much.
That's awesome.
And like a lot of things right now, like I'm struggling with a lot of things like right now, like like a lot of my relationships with my friends are suffering,
right?
And like that my relationship with my parents is kind of in shambles, especially like after what happened.
Yeah.
And like a lot of things are not going super great for me, but the one thing, the most important thing, which is like having a roof over my head, just keeping on earning, and like having something, put bread on the table, like that is the most important thing and that is the first thing that anyone should take care of. Absolutely. And to have that, and to have that covered, and to have a lot of like surplus. Like I'm so thankful for that. That's such a great thing, and like I'm hard on myself a lot at the time. Like I said, because sex work is such personal work, and there's like for every sex worker, there's so many reasons for us to be hard on ourselves. But
it's very taxing.
I am proud of. Yeah, I am. But I am very proud of myself on how much I've earned and what I've achieved in the short time that I've been an OnlyFans. So yeah, I'm really thankful.
That's awesome. You should definitely be proud of yourself. Yeah. Like, that's incredible how you just shot up like that. And again, like your milestone achievements with how many Twitter followers you have. Like, I'm pretty sure maybe by the time we're recording, you're going to have like 100,000. Like, guaranteed.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I really hope so. Like I work hard for that following, like just nurturing that, that relationship with my followers.
Yes. And it is a relationship. Like, it is a business relationship for sure. Yeah, it is a
parasocial relationship, like I'm just going to keep trucking, I guess. Like
damn right.
Like we all do. Like, that's something that I really admire about sex workers too. Like, you can take away like so many opportunities from us, but we'll always find a way to work and put ourselves out there.
The perseverance. So just keep doing that. Yes. Keep on hustling. But
for sure.
Before I let you go, where can we find you? Most importantly.
Okay. So a lot of my like most of my work is on OnlyFans. You can pay for it for only $6 for the first month, and then for the subsequent months, it's going to be like $15. But awesome. 30 days is a lot of time for you to consume my content, so please sign up.
Yes.
So it's just $6 this month. It's at onlyfans.com/Salome Salvi. So you spell it the way that you pronounce it, SalomeSalvi, and that is my name across all platforms. Perfect. On Twitter, I'm also Salome Salvi. On Reddit, on Avian Stars, on many vids, on Pornhub, and on Is My Girl. Those are the platforms I'm in right now.
Wow, so many.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and also Chatterbait, but I haven't started live streaming yet on Chatterbait, but I'm also Salome Salvi there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got suspended on Instagram because of nudity. So like my original handle, Salome Salvi, is not available anymore, but my Instagram is Salome Salvi, SalomeSalvi.mkv.
Yes. Hopefully this account, yes, and hopefully this account can stay around because you've also got banned a couple times too.
Oh my god!
Your account got deleted.
Like time. Like I had to say that on my profile to keep myself from getting reported because a lot of people think I'm a catfish.
Right. Yeah, and you're not. You're not.
I'm not. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Like, so I'm Salome Salvi everywhere. Please look up my work, and if you like it, please pay for your porn.
Yes, pay for your porn,
and support all the sex workers that you like.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, this morning / your evening. Like, thank you so much. And don't forget, no problem. It's work time for me. So it's Strip by Sia on Instagram, or Sia Steph is my personal. And we'll catch you guys in for another episode next Sunday. Bye. You're listening to Strip by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Artwork by Maria Bellandarama, music by Ted B, and photography by Ian Dabern.